What's up, guys? Welcome to another amazing episode of the thekisscapadespodcast. I have a very special guest with me today, and I'll just let her introduce herself, what she does, and we can take it off from there. So tell the people your name and what you do.
I thought you were going to give me like a blitz. Okay.
No, there you go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Wanjjiru Mureithi. I run a company called Winenjiru. Yes, you guessed it. We deal with wine, but it's not our only products. You know, wine is the medium we choose. And of course, when you build a brand, you look for something catchy and hence the name. So there are three pillars that our company is based on. One is education.
Yeah.
The next one is experience. And then lifestyle. So people need to experience things and they need to know about them. So education, I think, is a foundation where we train people. And of course, we do hospitality training, specifically on wine education. So we train people about wine, and we both have professional courses that you actually get certification on.
Okay. Let's slow down first of all. I can tell that you're about to summarize everything. Okay. We have an hour.
All right. Okay.
So
super.
we will. I have all the questions. I just wanted you to introduce yourself.
Okay. That's it.
So
I'm so sorry.
Let's start with.
I was like, what's going on? Okay.
I could tell, like, within the 5 minutes you'd have summarized the whole podcast if I didn't interrupt. So let's start.
Like Twitter bio.
Yeah, something close to that. So let's start with, how did you come up with the name Wanjjiru? Because that's a very unique name.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that actually made me interested in following you on Instagram. Just because, like, okay, who's this? This is a very unique, and even the logo.
Yeah.
It's unique stuff.
It's unique stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I should really be careful what I say.
Okay. Yeah.
So Winenjiru, okay, I run, right?
Yeah.
I do marathons, and when you're running out there.
So that wasn't a joke, actually, right?
It was no joke. It was actually, I can tell you, it was January 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
The run was around Runda, Mushada area. I remember I was running with the Urban Sorors, which is a running club. Every Saturday morning they run. And I'd been thinking about a company. And of course, you think about sexy names like Liquid Art, Liquid Gold, and stuff like that. But then I figured, sometimes using your name as a base and trying to sort of change things around is also really useful. So hence the Winenjiru. And at first it was a joke, but the more we talked about it, I remember the guy who designed the logo is called Job.
Shout outs to Job.
Job Ballard of Accent Design, and we were having breakfast and I said, this is the thingy, and a name called Winenjiru, and he's like, I like it. I'm going to design your logo. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's, so it picks on. And of course some people ask, like, what does it mean? Or aren't you afraid of, say, you're working in international circles, people understand it? I'm like, what is Google?
No, people, what do you mean? Like,
what
people won't understand it.
Yeah, people, so you...
But once you see wine,
yes,
and then Jiru, come on, that's already just super unique.
Super unique.
Yeah.
And then it gives me a chance to explain, right?
A conversation starter.
So, very much so. Yeah, and we like that. And and sometimes when people forget my name, they actually just call me Wanjjiru, which is, again, okay, because it's like close, right?
Yeah.
But then now, if you think about it now, the more we talked about it, the more other deviations started coming out of the name. So it could mean black wine, because Njiro in Kikuyu is black. Yeah, but that wasn't that wasn't even something we had planned. So black wine, I guess, again, the whole issue about diversity in the industry, because black people getting into wine and stuff like that. But really, it was about my name. I'm vain like that. So then when the logo was designed as well, so it's a W, but it's 2 bunches of grapes.
Yep.
But it can also be like wines in a cellar.
That caught my eye. I was like, okay, so she knows what she's doing.
So there's all these stories. So sometimes, some things really were accidental and some things were intentional. So that's how we came up with the name. Nice. I was running and had a brainwave. So people should run more when they're coming up with names.
We're all Kenyans. We should all run, first of all. Some should be running for so many other different reasons. But anyway, so because you said when you were running, you came up with this idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have were you in the wine business already?
No, the running was about the name. Yeah.
Okay.
Clearly, I shouldn't be running if I've drunk, right?
yeah.
So, believe it or not,
Yeah.
I was a civil servant.
What?
Yes.
Really?
I have a degree in business, 2 degrees in business, but then for 10 years I was working in South Africa for the government of South Africa as a head of non-funding programs. So my daily life was used to terminology like sustainable livelihoods, impact.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we know those terms.
Youth at risk and stuff like that. So really, if you had told me 10 years ago that this is what I'd be doing, totally different thing.
Yeah.
And alcohol and I have had a strange relationship. I'm not really a drinker, to be honest. I'm a lightweight like that, you know.
Really?
Give me chai, soup, uji.
Yeah.
You know? I'm sour. But then living in South Africa where wine is a commodity, you don't really think about, I'm going to drink today. It's like you're
The
doing
culture there is just...
Yes, the culture there is, and then access to wine, petrol station. And it's not like wines and spirits. It's at the little shop at the petrol station.
Yeah,
the
and they have a
supermarket.
variety of
They have
different...
a variety at all prices. So really, you don't think about it. It's like you're buying juice or eggs or bread or milk.
Yeah.
So every so often, if you want to have a drink, then you grab a bottle. And my spouse, my ex-spouse at the time, was a member of a wine club.
Oh, we'll get to that, don't worry. Yeah.
So typically speaking, people actually start with really sort of, poor entry level wine and then graduate to the big things.
Yeah.
But given the fact that he was a collector and was a member of a club.
He was a collector?
Yes. At home then we drank good stuff. But then
why would you leave a wine collector? Okay, sorry, my apologies. Sorry, my apologies.
Maybe I met the one who makes the investment decisions.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Edit. So again, at home, we would have, but then I wasn't really looking at what we were drinking. I just knew it was great.
Yeah.
And and of course, you develop some favorites. In fact, there's some brands I see now that, of course, take me back, and I buy them for
memories. Yeah.
I buy them for nostalgia. So that was the other thing. So I guess with time, then you develop, this becomes your choice. Because I've tried beer, I've tried whiskey, I've tried vodka.
They're just not for you.
Wine and I mostly agreed but then again, you have to drink in moderation, like anything else. So unfortunately, I had a family tragedy that brought me back to Kenya in 2012. That meant I left my lucrative job and I was coming to recalibrate. So you come back home.
Or like living completely, moving back home.
Yes. So I came back home in 2012 and of course you come back to source and start rebuilding things. So I still had a consulting gig in sort of microfinance for the first year. But then now, the irony is I actually also stopped drinking alcohol for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you have those nice, different and
No, even in South Africa.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually had I got a daughter, Mudoni, in 2011. So of course, prior to the pregnancy, getting pregnant, you're not drinking, of course. Yeah. But then actually my reasons for leaving drinking were for something else. But anyway, throughout those 4 years, I wasn't drinking. And then I lost Mudoni. That's why I came home. So when I talk about recalibrating, is really, it's like you don't know. Everything is black and you have to create something.
Yeah.
But I was lucky. Like I said, my friend was running a startup that did payday loans. Sort of before Mshwari and Tala and Branch, there was Micromobile, and it's still in existence. So I got a gig, while they were setting up for that. And that, I think I was really lucky because then, you're still doing some economic activity.
Yeah.
And then again, I started drinking again. So at the time, I think we're very lucky now. At the time, I think buying wine in Kenya was close to a tender process. Why do I say that? It's like you had to shortlist which places have wine.
Yeah.
And then which places have wine I can afford.
It had to be expensive, first of all,
Very
right?
expensive.
Yeah.
And then what are the chances of me getting the wine when I go there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now that I have shortlisted,
It's
this is
also
where I'm
scarce
going.
as well.
And again, will I be able to afford it? So it was frustrating. But because I kept going back to South Africa, my brother is still there, so he kind of took over things for me. Then I would go and bring back my stash. And then, of course, your friends know. that, you have
Nani
wine.
brings.
Yeah, so we come to your house and what we do, we like clear your stock in one day. So there's a day I actually got really upset. I removed my invoice book. I said, where?
Yeah.
Because again, you brought this thinking it's going to last for 3 months. So they're like, why don't you do this as a business? I mean, I'm like, who am I not to look for the opportunity? But the idea was I was a consumer. So now I had to think, I need to be able to talk about wine credibly. And of course, it's not just about what I like. I have to learn a bit more. So I started exploring opportunities for education within South Africa. With the
wine
idea,
education?
Yes, with the idea now of getting a qualification myself and then now becoming an importer for wine. So the idea of going to Cape Town on a regular basis was really good. And of course, touring the wine lines now. But then you're not touring just to go and taste, you're touring with the idea in mind.
Yeah.
So University of Cape Town, the Graduate School of Business, one of the top universities, I think, in Africa, had a program what was called, it's a postgraduate diploma in wine business management. So I signed up for that. And the first day you go to class, you're 11 people and like you're one of 2 blacks. The other, one of 3 blacks, because the other one was actually a Kenyan guy, then the other one was a South African guy. And then at the beginning of the course, I realized it was more, what can I call it? It was a business course for wine people. With 2 business degrees, I was like, fiddling thumbs, where are we going to get to the wine thing? So like in the 4th module, that's when we really got into the wine thing. So that was a bit frustrating. But the other thing is you can't quit a class if you're the minority.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a very long application process, right?
You've already gotten in there.
And it's UCT.
Yeah.
So I stuck it out, but then what I did was to now try and leverage from my classmates and actually find out about this thing. So one of my classmates, Francois, was a winemaker in a wine estate called Asara. And he's like, come over. And in retrospect, I think it was one of the best wine tours I've ever been given. Asara is a beautiful estate in Stellenbosch. He took me into his cellar and was giving me barrel tastings. And he was talking about all these winemaking techniques. I was so green. And I know we spent like 3 hours there. In fact, I need to go back and do the same thing again. But I didn't really appreciate it. But it was one of those things that it was really, really cool. One thing about the Asara cellar, I'm digressing, is that it has chandeliers.
So
it's a wine
just get in there,
with chandeliers inside. So you can imagine. I thought that was what all wine cellars look like. Anyway, so Francois gave me that experience. Every so often, of course, during assignments, the winemakers would bring wine. So slowly, then I started understanding the business side of things. And I even went for one of the top South African wine auctions through, again, another classmate. And the opportunity that people were buying wine at really high prices as collectors as well. But then coming back now to set up the company in Kenya, what became very clear for me is the process of import, export, logistics, getting the wine tested was something that I wasn't really conversant with and didn't want to get involved in. But then now, because I understood the wine value chain in terms of the business, then I thought, why not education? I had to go to South Africa to pay for this course. Why can't we have the same courses here? And also realizing that even with a little research I had tried to do, within the space, then there was opportunity for that. After finishing the UCT course, then I actually discovered the Wines and Spirits Education Trust course, which answered the hunger that I really wanted.
Which is the
WACT.
WACT.
Yeah. But anyway, before WACT, during my UCT classes, I know I'm going back and forth.
No. It's okay.
So in one of those classes, of course, now when we finally got to the wine module, there was people from the industry coming to give us talks. One of those people was Matume Mbata, who is the Wines of South Africa Africa market manager. And
I think I know him.
Yeah. Oh, do you?
That's a whole different.
When shall you introduce him to the people? So I asked Matume, hey, you know what? I'm from Kenya. When are you coming to Kenya? What do you guys do in Africa? So he's like, oh yeah, we go to Angola, we go to Nigeria, Lagos, and Uganda. No offense to
Kenya was not in the...
Yeah, no offense to Ugandans, but I was like, Uganda?
Yeah.
But anyway, he had come into Kenya to prospect just before Westgate. So you can understand how sometimes...
Oh, it was during that period.
Yeah, things work against us. So clearly after Westgate, nobody was like, hey, let's go to Kenya, you know?
Yeah.
But there used to be a lady who used to run our fine wine show at South and Sun the years prior. So there was something going on in the space.
A bit just, you know.
So he tells me, anyway, there was like one wine event or like two wine events. I think even South African Airways and Liederberg used to do a series of winemaker events as well. But the idea was, I told him, please, you have to come to Kenya. So he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to Uganda in October. You come along, see what we do, write me a proposal. So 2014 October, I went to Uganda. So what we did, and I put in this very ambitious proposal to him. And it took a while to get a response. But when the response came back, it was...
super positive.
We are doing something in Nairobi.
What? Just like that?
In 2015. It wasn't just like that.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying, of course.
But now within a year, we held the first Nairobi Wines of South Africa Grand Tasting. And before that, I had gone to South Africa now to attend the Cape Wine Show, which is a show that happens once every 3 years. And it's like the South African showcase to the world. Overwhelming experience. 3 days, from 9 to 5, you go to a room like KICC. You know, when you're having the construction expo or the...
Whatever, the way you just have like so many stands, I can only imagine.
It's like 1,000 bottles of wine. And you're having meetings from 9 to 5.
Sheesh.
And everybody is giving you a taste. So spitting is an art in wine.
Oh yeah, because for that you actually can't be... You can't be sipping like everything.
And then every evening, there is a reception of some sort or dinner somewhere with more wine. Unlimited wine for 3 days. My liver has never recovered, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So, so anyway, then September I go for the show. Then I have to come back in November. One, I'm not in this industry. I'm a newbie. Number two, I have not been living in Kenya for a while. So my career, capital, networks, you know, are not necessarily very well developed, especially not in this space.
Yeah.
And you have to put together an event for trade. Yeah. So learning, I guess, you learn things in your jobs anyway. So you had to pull in South African Airways. We had to pull in, of course, South African High Commission. So for you to get sort of the corporate networks within that space, then talk to all now food and beverage people and all the importers. The funny thing is, actually, some people thought I was an imposter of some sort and would... I think Matume got 1 or 2 inquiries about, is this legit?
Is
because
it
who is
for sure?
Who is Wanjjiru?
Yeah.
You know, and where has she come from?
We've never heard
of her, and then now this. But then the end result is we had a very successful event with about 200 people, and there was 20 wine producers from South Africa who came to exhibit. And that set us off really in a big way. And maybe so big that now the expectations for whatever else we're going to do
was actually taken more.
Was very high. So see, I was still on that importing road. So when I went to do the Wines and Spirits Education Trust, I figured this is really what Nairobi needs. So the idea is you have to get the qualification, then apply for the license, of course, to come into the country. So that's what I got to do now in 2015. And started the process of getting the qualification here. And as with any international license, the fees are very high.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, the fees are very high. So the WASA gig was like our first contract, and we've been doing that annually since 2015. Then WSET, we actually launched the Kenyan courses last year. Sorry, this is 2019, yes.
Yeah.
December 2018, so we've done a full year now. And this is a professional course. It's global. So whatever we're teaching in Nairobi is being taught in Hong Kong, in the UK, in South Africa, in Brazil.
It's a whole one like system. Like if you learn here, you don't have to go to Nini. They'll start telling you by the you've learned this in Kenya.
The certificate is legit. The pin is legit, and hence the price. Yeah. So level 1 is basically entry level. What is grapes? You do 6 hours of guided learning in class. You do the exam on the same day. You have your PIN. The cost of that, all inclusive, meaning your books, the wine, the teaching, conference facilities for a day and the like, are 25,000 plus VAT, which is 28k.
25,000
shillings. Plus 16% VAT.
Not $25,000.
No. So like some $250 odd dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's the same price you would pay in SA. Perhaps in the UK.
So even the pricing is actually...
So
they try and make
exactly. Yeah, so Hospitality Competence Center, which is the company that owns the license, is a partnership of 3 companies. I'm the educator as Winenjiru. Then we have DeFreeze Consulting, and Makin, who are two importers who are also in the business as well. And of course, for them also, this is really good because it gives them an opportunity to market their products directly to their target market. But then that's the cost. So in essence, when the pricing was being set up, we were very clear that we should give you value right at home. So people still complain about the cost, but we've saved to the tickets.
I think it actually, because you brought it.
We brought it right home.
Yeah.
I had to go to Cape Town, do the course, and then wait for a week to do the exam. You know?
That's cost.
And the exam was 1 hour.
What?
The exam is a 1 hour exam, right?
So
the pricing is really